Hello friends, it's Tina Swanson, aka Giddy Girl, and I wanted to show you my journal. I finally finished it. It's for a private swap. Her name is Michelle Jenkins, and so I wanted to I'm going to go ahead and start this. I think I'm going to do this video in a two-parter because it's pretty thick, but I wanted to get going on it, at least maybe do like maybe 12-15 minutes on this one, and then go into another video on this, so at least get it going. So here it is in all its glory. This book literally took me almost a year to make. We both just took our sweet time, so it wasn't one of those things where she's waiting on me and I'm waiting on her, and we'd always check in with each other. It's really funny. I've never met her in person, and I think I met her on Junk Journal Junkies, and so we just kind of said, hey, let's just do this, and then we would just check in like every couple of months or so. That's kind of cool to kind of have that relationship with somebody, I think. She lives in the state of Washington, I think Tacoma, and of course I'm here in Portland, Oregon. So maybe one of these days we'll actually meet. So here it is. I made a tassel out of various laces, and it attaches with one of these Tim Holtz clips. So yeah, I thought she wanted to take it off. My husband says it looks like a little ghost. And I've got some little metal ephemera on here and some tassels. And then I picked these gems up at a bead fair. I really love it. So it's got like 4 little gems in there. I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick it up. Maybe if I do that. That's the trick right there. So it's got some little gems in there, and then I have like a floating 3D leaf in here as well, if I can find it in this big old lovely mess. Here it is. It's a silver leaf, and then it also has a floating gem in there. So I picked those up at the bead fair, and I just love it. So I wanted her to have those, and so this is it. And I've gotten some really beautiful trim that I've cut down and put on there. And so that's the tassel, like I said, and it's got some binding here, so you can take that on and off. And so I did use some whites and some neutrals and some taupes in here, so pretty cool. And so here it is. I'm going to go ahead and take it apart. I just went ahead and just used another lace as a closure. So I will admit, when I first started this book, I did not think about the closure at the beginning. That's something that I need to work on. I think it would have been nice to just at least have some thought process over that. And so when I got this done, I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't think about the closure. So that's why she's getting a lace, a ribbon. Here is the fabric. I got this fabric at a store called Scrap PDX, and it's a store here in Portland, Oregon, that basically you can go in and donate any type of art supplies, anything that may be deemed as an art supply, you can donate there. And they're very picky, so you can't just go drop off your art junk. They're very picky on what they want, or if they have an abundance of one thing, they're not going to take it. So it has to be things that they can actually move in and move out. So anyways, obviously fabric and sewing notions and things like that is kind of a hot thing there. So I found this fabric. I went ahead and picked it up because I knew I wanted to do it for this journal, and I had second thoughts along the way, and then the more I started playing with it, making the cover and then actually putting the insides together, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And so it's kind of like a linen feel to it. And what I use for my cover is I use a 9x11 envelope. Manila envelopes, that's what I use, so it's a soft cover. Anyways, I love to ramble, as you guys know. So anyways, I covered it, and I did zigzag stitching all the way around it, added some lace on the sides, and then I put this beautiful lace down the back of the spine to cover up the signature. So that's that. And then I decided I wanted to put a quote on the front of it, so I actually put a quote and encased it in some vellum and then stitched around it and then adhered it to this cover. So here is a shabby flower that I made, and that's just using some of the Dollar Tree lace. I got it, I'm not going to go into how I did it. I got it from Craftpurge, and it's her shabby flower. I will link her link down below so you can see where I got it. So that's that. And so I thought it came out nice. And so this is basically the lace from the Dollar Tree. And then I actually adhered this lovely little applique here, and then with a flat back gem. So that's that. I had these little pins in my stash, and I decided just to incorporate it, just to give it a little bit more pop of color on the front. So there is that. Open it up. Because I did put the lace on the inside or over the edges, this created a little pocket here, so if she wanted to put something in there. And then I have a library pocket and a card. And I might put a little note in there. I haven't decided. So I'm hoping to get this mailed off today or Monday. The digital kit that I have in this book that I used is from Artymaze, A Bloom in Spring. A Bloom in Spring. So anyways, that's what I've used in here. You'll see that throughout. And then I used actually some magazine parts. Tea stain paper, coffee stain paper. This particular paper, when I ran this through my copier, I actually took the back and I took an ink pad, a Ranger ink pad, and just inked it up that way. It came out pretty cool. It was a lot of time to do that. I don't know that I'll do it again. And then I kind of did some second and third generation stamping, so it's kind of fainted here so you can see some of the flowers on here. This is from a flower magazine, and I went ahead and sewed in a tip-in. I think that's what it's called. Forgive me, I'm still trying to learn some of the lingo. I know every now and then I might get it confused, and then I just zigzag stitch it. I wasn't too crazy about this part of it, but I at least wanted to leave it. It's just she wanted to put something on top of it, so now it can be hidden. This paper, this type of material came from IKEA, so you never know what you're going to find in IKEA. So it was in their sewing section a while back. So I had a bunch of like squares. I don't want to call them fat squares because it's kind of confusing to fat quarters, but they were squares, and they had this nice already gingham cut to it. So anyways, I added some architecture paper in here and did some stamping. Let's see how quickly I can go through it. I did lace edges, sewed lace edges all through here. And then I actually did charms. I made charms to go with it. Not sure if we could see the charms. So there's some dangles. Okay. Some more of the Artymaze DigiKit. And then I just kind of sewed some burlap ribbon that I had so that it's not. I apologize if you can hear my dog in the background. Hopefully he's not going to get into a barking fit. And then I had these ephemera. No, I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry about that. So I had some of these. I don't even know where I got this. I had some ephemera cards, and so I decided to go ahead and incorporate those too. An envelope. This is some of the Tim Holtz botanicals that I included here. And then I used some of my edge punches and just kind of did some of these papers as well. This particular paper is actually Kool-Aid stain, and then I did some stamping on it to give it some texture. There's plenty of writing space on it in this book if she wanted to use it for that. And some more. This is Graphic 45. And then I left some of these like this on purpose. That way if she wanted to do some attachments here, she could. So she could definitely add to this book. And I guess in a way I'm kind of glad I did the closure the way I did it, only because she can just make this a little bit more chunkier if she wanted to. I did a little tuck spot here, and again this is Kool-Aid stain. I think it was a blue raspberry Kool-Aid. I love that. It's kind of gave it like a, I don't know if you guys can see that, but see that? It kind of gave it like a crystal look. It's pretty cool. And then somebody had gifted me several of these little, like a little poster or prints, and so I went ahead and just backed it up on some craft paper and stitched it. And there's belly band there. Graphic 45. Artymaze. Artymaze. I think the only printable that I used in here, the Digi printable, is Artymaze. And Graphic 45. I like how busy this is. Offset it with something super quiet. On the inside is my signature, so it is super busy here. I decided to go ahead and give it a whitewash on the inside just to kind of mute it just a tiny bit. I asked an opinion with one of my one of my forum groups on Facebook, and they said to leave it alone. I kind of had 50-50, so I decided I'll go ahead and just mute it because kind of where I was headed to begin with. This is a calendar that I got at Dollar Tree, and so it's super thin. So what I did was I just backed it front and back, glued it together, and made an envelope out of it. It's empty, so she could put something in there. Got the early morning raspiness going on right now. And then this lace, again, to just mute that down just a little bit, I actually sewed some lace on the pocket, and then I just put some of the Tim Holtz ephemera in there. And that might be what this is. This might be that botanical, part of that botanical collection. And then I made a little booklet. This was gifted to me some time ago too. So I went ahead and did a little pamphlet. So some more journaling space. I love the paper. So I made a little journal. I got this a long time ago too. So yeah, it was kind of, I've got a scrap rack in the back of me, and so basically when I did all of my categorizing, I have a flower section because that was a pretty big section, and so I had this in there, and it's homemade. I didn't do it. I can't take credit for it, but it's got lots of little flowers in there. It's super cool. So yeah, I love it. And I included just some bits and pieces. And then this is actually a paper clip. It's a hidden paper clip. So I had some extra tickets that I was punching out and stuff, and so I decided to make a hidden paper clip, and then I just adhered this little piece to it. So I think that's pretty cool. So she can move that around if she wanted to. Honestly, I don't know where I got this. It's like a Wally, I think. And it might have been in some sort of scrapbooking kit that I gotten from the Scrapedics. I'm not even sure. It's beautiful. Decided to use it and make a pocket out of it. And so I inserted this little glassine bag, and I did some stenciling on it. And then here's another little seed packet. And then on top I just decorated it with some graphic 45 paper and some burlap. Love how that turned out. Okay, here's another little charm. This one's darling. I made these charms, and you ever make something and you just like, I don't want to give it away. So here's a little darling charm, and it's got another little flower hanging off of it. I love how that turned out. And it's just attached with the garment pin. And then here's another graphic 45 paper, and I made a pocket, a little small pocket, and just put some tag, put a tag there, and then this is a little journaling card. And I left these like that, and it's from that little journal I just showed you. So I just cut a piece from it, and I love this little raggedness, and I just distressed it with some Ranger ink just to give it some pop. Incorporated this beautiful little trim here, and then some bling. And then this is just a little hidden journal spot that I sewed in. Some stamping, stitching, and then here is another Kool-Aid stained paper, and I just included one of these book pages pockets that I had, and then I stuck some little ephemera in there. And then I rouged up some scrapbook paper and stitched that in there and made that to a tuck. And then this is my first hand. This is the first time I ever decoupage a tag with napkins, so it's my first go. And it was back and forth whether or not I wanted to include it, and I decided to go ahead and include it. So why not? Honestly, if she doesn't care for it, she could do what she needs with it. That's fine. I like it, but I don't know. I asked an opinion of another friend, and she says, no, that's the way it's supposed to look. So anyway. Here's another part of that flower book. I love the colors in it. And I was trying to get creative with my pocket folding. Just trying to play with the papers and see how I can make some little pockets and so forth. Graphic 45, and I made a pocket there and one there, and then I stitched it shut. So of course it created pockets on this side. And so what I have here is just a little loose See that page? I purposely picked a page that didn't have a lot of writing on it. I stitched the top close, fold it up so she could actually use that for a journaling spot. And that tucks in there like that. And then here's another pocket there, and then here, this was gifted to me. I did not make this, so I decided to incorporate it because we had a book page and book page. I thought that was working really well together. And then these were super little pockets, and so what I decided to do is just make, from that calendar, backed it up on some packaging. This is an Amy Tangerine packaging, and add some binding, seam binding tape to it, and that I also dyed. I dyed this, I Kool-Aid stained this, dyed it. So that's that calendar book on some packaging. And tuck those in there so that way she has some peekaboo tags. And then this is Tim Holtz. Is it Tim Holtz? Ooh, I don't remember. Forgive me if it's not. And so that's one of the stickers. I went ahead and put that on the glassine bag. And here's another tuck spot. This is using some other ephemera that I had. I wanted to do it, and here's a nice little envelope from the Artymaze kit, and I included some floral-y types prints there. And this one's kind of a cool page. I had this card, this envelope that I'd gotten, and I wanted to go ahead and use it, and I basically folded an envelope up about 1/3 of the ways and made a pocket out of it, and then I opened up the end of it, so I have a pocket. And what I did was I covered the part that I folded up, and rather than glue the whole thing down, I actually just did a 3-sided glue, so that created a pocket there. This is from my local craft store called Craft Warehouse. These were super cool. So I put that in there, and then this created another pocket, the fold up did. I hope I'm explaining myself. And here's a few more tags. Here's another, it's a little embedded flower there. And then, yeah, this has got like 1, 2, 3, and 4 pockets. So, and I put things in it just so she knows. And so again, when I put the paper down to cover this gold, it's kind of a coppery color, I left pockets. So here's another pocket here. And then here is the actual envelope opening. Okay, and then what I did was I put some wildflower seeds in this vellum pack. And I did it more for the shaker part of it is what I did. So, and this is stained vellum. Love it. And then just added some lace. And I've left everything hanging. And so there's that. So she knows she's got 4 pockets going on. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So lots of little places to stuff things in. Okay. And then some big time real estate here. And just love that. I just left the edges there from the book. Actually, the book wasn't as big as the journal itself, so that's why it's smaller. Little stamping image here. Then you got Artymaze. So that's the end of the first signature. I'm going to go ahead and stop there, and then I'll continue on with the second part. Okay, until part 2. Thank you.